We did it right this time.
I am a golden guy.
You did it, CJ. Woo! Welcome to this week's ESO Live. We are your hosts today, Gina Bruno, Assistant Community Manager for English.
And I'm Jessica Folsom, Community Manager for the Elder Scrolls Online.
What do you do? Who am I?
Well, you know.
We are in the home stretch for console launch, you guys.
Yep.
It's really exciting. Well, let's get into
looking at the overview? Okay.
May as well.
All right, so first we've got the official ESOTU news.
After that, we'll get into some incoming in-game fan events.
Then we'll have a Life at Sauce segment with senior designer Robbie Stevens.
After that, we'll be doing the fan creation showcase.
Then we'll have an Ask Us Anything, as usual, with some of your questions from the official forums.
And we're going to wrap up today's show with a live console demo with
Live.
ESO Live, doing it live, with console executive producer Eric Wass and also senior QA tester William Shook.
But before that, how about we do our first giveaway?
What? Already?
I know.
Let's do it. We're going to be giving away a very special ESO mug.
I don't think these are sold anywhere.
They're not.
So they have some nice foil on the top here.
So for all of you, I was going to say early birds, but you're actually on time on today's stream. Type in cheer. Cheers. Sorry, I can't read.
No S.
You know, like cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. So today's show, some of you have noticed, well, if you're here, you definitely noticed, we're doing on a Thursday. That is a bit unusual for us. We are still doing it bi-weekly every other Friday, but we have some console readiness stuff to do for tomorrow, so we're doing it a day early.
Oh, I feel bad for the people typing in cheer because I can't read. It's cheers.
Cheers.
Not
Give them a few more
cheese.
seconds then.
Yes.
Cheers like the show.
That's an old one.
I know. I
Okay.
dated myself, huh?
I watched you too. It's okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy. Okay. Quick,
Well,
pick a winner.
Moving on. Our winner is Controlology.
Congrats. We hope you enjoy this with your mead or drink of choice.
Contrology? I'm still going to keep trying. Close enough.
All right, so next up, we're going to take a look at our official news for the last week or two. So. All right, so we've had a lot going on the next couple weeks. That goes without saying, but we recently released patch 2.0.10. That was earlier this week. It was a small incremental patch, but it had some pretty important fixes and changes. One of which was a change where you get experience, quest credit, and rewards, loot, gold, no matter what veteran rank you are when grouping with other people. So
I think before that you had to be within 5 levels of each other, and now you can be within any veteran rank.
Yep. Also fixed a bug with Dragonstar Arena in the LFG tool.
And there's no patch next week because console launch. We're releasing on console. So regarding console launch, we did recently do the character copy from PC to console if you were eligible. That happened on Monday, June 1st.
Yep.
If you were eligible, you should have received an email saying that it happened and you're good to go.
Your character is waiting there for you.
Indeed.
So we also have some preload details that we're going to be releasing for those of you who are waiting to preload ESOTU for console. We'll be releasing those tomorrow. But in short, it will explain what you need to do if you have pre-purchased via the console to PC Mac to console transfer, or if you have pre-purchased a digital copy of the game. So keep an eye out for that on our official forums. We'll also put something on social media to let you know that it's up.
Can I interrupt and go off the record here? They're saying our mics are a little low.
Oh,
Should I
okay.
just start screaming?
Apparently.
Should I talk like this? I'll just talk louder. How about that? Oh, somebody said, oh, okay.
Because Jess is touching her mic.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry.
It blows my eardrums out.
Sorry.
We'll just talk like this. We're having midnight releases. No, so we're having, we're launching the game midnight in your time zone for console launch. So midnight in DC, you can get in. And then once it's midnight in LA, you can get in. So whenever it's midnight for you, you will be able to log into the game.
Kind of a rolling. So we're going to have a lot of midnight releases as it goes global.
Yes. We definitely will. What else did we do this week?
We also launched our Community Ambassador Program earlier this week. It's been going really well. We have a handful of really awesome community ambassadors that we've selected just to get it kicked off. And then from here on out, we will be looking for your nominations for new community ambassadors. We'll probably pick a handful, maybe once a month. And what these folks do is they help us. They're typically people who are already kind of going out of their way above and beyond to make the community a better place. And that is what they'll be helping us do, giving us recommendations on community events, maybe cool things that people are doing that we might want to highlight. It's not specifically to give feedback about the game, it's more about helping grow the community.
Yep. So if you have any nominations, you can email it to us at community@elderscrollsonline.com.
Yep.
Just be sure and include if they have a forum name or some other sort of name they go by, if they're a role player or a streamer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot that over with a little reason why you're nominating them. What did we do today? What are all the things
Writing
we did today?
lessons.
We released some writing lessons onto the Crown Store this morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So there are 3 different courses that you can purchase. You can get speed, stamina, and carry capacity. So these come in packs of 10. It costs 1,000 crowns for the pack of 10. And each lesson that you use increments your skill by 1, up to the maximum 60.
Mm-hmm.
So
You can help you get a little ahead with your writing skills.
yeah. Just want to clarify, you can't go past the max, but you can purchase as many as you want. There is a small known issue in French where the description isn't showing up, but we posted it on the forums for you, so you can
And
go
that will be fixed.
check it out. It will be fixed.
Yes.
We will add it at some point.
So that wraps up our news. Next up, we're going to take a look at the community events that are happening in-game on the North American and European mega servers that you can participate in over the next couple weeks. All right, so we have a couple weeks of live events happening that your fellow players are running in-game. We've actually added something recently to this segment where we show the mega server that this is happening on, be it PC and Mac, or in the future, hopefully we'll have some stuff on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 mega servers as well. So let's dive in. So first up, we've got the Surviving the Nords of Skyrim. You can join the 3rd session of this recurring event. Learn more about the culture of Skyrim. This event actually takes place every other Thursday, so the next one is today, June 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This is on the North American mega server for PC and Mac, and it's in Windhelm for all Ebonheart Pact members.
The Woodhearth Open Market is next. These are on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You want to head to the 3 Tree Trading Circle.
You did it!
I did it. There's 3 of them.
What is that deep voice?
Oh my gosh, who is that? Is his mic
sorry.
even on?
Is my mic on?
This is in Green Shade for PC and Mac.
Next up is the Festival of Defiance. This is on the European mega server. Altmary Dominion members may participate in a festival where you'll be able to participate, or you'll be able to interact with many merchants. There's a display of fully operational Dwemer Centurion and a feast.
Next up, we have the ever-popular Player Live Auction from the Blue Skooma Company. These guys have been doing this forever. It happens on Saturdays at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. you want to head over to Green Shade on the North American Mega Server. And it's for auctioning items, not players.
Next up is the Morrowind Food Pantry. You can attend this multi-guild food pantry held for all Morrowind citizens, so that's Ebonheart Pact. And this is in Kraganmore City on the North American Mega Server.
Next up, we have the Cyrodiil Underground Fight Club. First rule is don't talk about the Cyrodiil Underground Fight Club, except on the show. So come get your hands or paws dirty. Who wrote this? Jason. This is on Sunday, June 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be on the North American Mega Server in Cyrodiil, and they will determine which campaign it'll be in on the night of the event. So keep your eyes peeled.
Next up is
your paws. Sorry.
Oh. Ew.
I don't know.
That sounds awful.
That was horrible. I'm sorry.
All right, next up is the weekly underground market. So this is for those who are needing to sell their ill-gotten gains. You're welcome to attend. This is a weekly market event. The next one is happening on Tuesday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the North American Mega Server in Sentinel for Daggerfall Covenant members.
The Withered Tree Tavern Night. This is if you like food and drink, sparring, prizes. I mean, who doesn't like that? This is on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, North American Mega Server at the Withered Heart Tree Tavern in Riften. So many tongue twisters here. Sort of.
Next up is the Wayrest Fighters Guild. This is another regular event. The next one happens on Thursday, June 11th at 8 p.m. GMT +1 on the European Mega Server. This is in the Wayrest Fighters Guild. Activities do vary, so pop on in and see what's up.
The Worm Ascendant. So this is for the Worm Cult, for those not familiar with lore. If you're looking to spy and infiltrate, you should attend this event. It's Thursday, June 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, on the North American Mega Server, and the location is going to be determined later.
Of course it is. It's a secret.
Mm-hmm.
So that wraps up our events.
No, it doesn't. We have more things.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We forgot to mention this on the last show, but on June 9th at midnight BST, there's going to be a special 24-hour PS4 launch charity stream from one of our players.
Awesome.
Busy Focusing. He is pretty active on Reddit, if you've seen him around. He is doing a charity stream for the Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital. So yeah, we have, well, I guess I can't really read off all the URLs, but he has a Twitch channel. It's BSYFCSIN. And yeah, he'll be starting June 9th, kind of in celebration of console launch. So check it out.
That is awesome. Definitely tune in. Okay, so for reals, that wraps up our events. That's okay.
Yeah, so that wraps up our roleplay events and then our special live stream. Coming up next, we're going to be doing the Life and Sauce segment.
Hello.
Hello.
Who's this guy?
Everyone,
Hi.
this is Robbie Stevens. He is a senior designer here at ZOS. As always, we will be doing a Q&A afterwards. If you have any questions for Robbie about his position here, what he does, just about himself, feel free to ask in chat. So, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Tell
thanks
us
for
what
having
you
me.
do. What do you do here?
So my title is senior designer, and currently I'm working on the gameplay team with the infamous Eric Roble. I've been doing that for roughly about the last 6 months or so. Yeah, and we've been looking at a lot of itemization for some of our upcoming content, and working on player abilities and game-wide balance based on player feedback and everything. So. Yeah.
You're a busy man.
Yep.
So, how did you first break into the industry and actually get your job here at ZOS?
So I broke into the industry. I went to a graduate school called the Guildhall at Southern Methodist University.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
Heard
a
of
couple
it.
of Guildhall
We
people
do.
here, and yeah, so I got hired out of the guild hall to work at BioWare Austin on Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I worked there for roughly 2 years, and then I came up to ZOS, and I've been here for close to 3 years now. So
That's great.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been really good.
So we get this question a lot. What would you recommend to somebody who's wanting to get into design or even just into the industry? Design is a very popular one that people ask about.
Yeah, so design's kind of a tricky one compared to kind of like art and programming, because art, there's kind of specific things you can go to school for, and programming, you can study computer science, and you can kind of take those paths in order to get into the industry a little bit easier. Design, honestly, is very much a mix of both, right? Design is very much a mix of programming and art in a lot of ways, and so taking art classes and knowing how to talk about artwork or video games in a critical way, but also being constructive, is really important. Taking math classes to understand kind of game design mechanics and how you use those mechanics to build games, and then computer science, because designers many times have to script or program a game. So I guess my best advice is to, don't be scared, be broad, like look at a lot of things, find out what you're passionate for and kind of study that. And then also play games, obviously, and try to make something on your own. Like, making something on your own is really important, and if you can make it with people, that's even better, because the game industry is kind of all about collaboration and people working together, and you need to be able to work on a team. And that's one of the biggest reasons I got into the games industry, is because I wanted to work with kind of like-minded people. So, yeah, I hope that helps anyone.
Yeah. Everybody's different.
Yeah, exactly. But which is great, right? Like, it makes it a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure. So what have you worked on while you've been here at ZOS?
Yeah, so that's kind of a long answer. So I said again, like, I've been here for almost 3 years, and the first year here I was a quest designer, and I worked on a bunch of stuff in Grotwood and Canarthy's Roost primarily. I'm the guy responsible for Brackenleaf, but not for Brackenleaf's voice. Yeah.
So why does Brackenleaf have a butt?
Yeah. So I mean, songs tell us that Y'ffre planted these seeds around the world, and Brackenleaf is, rumored to be one of the seeds that she planted. And, he's a sentient being like anyone else, and so, he has needs. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. He has he has functions he has to, take care of. And, even when you're inside of Brackenleaf, and you have to take his heart, a piece of his flame, in order to become a briar. If you need to leave there at some point before you're going through the quest, you can kind of take a ladder out, and and you can kind of take it out of that part of the tree, because that makes sense, right?
You exit through, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you have it, folks.
Some interesting wording there. I probably should have thought about that a little bit more. So yeah, I did that for about a year, and then for the next year, I worked on a lot of dungeon content, specifically Crypt of Hearts veteran, City of Ash veteran. I'm the guy who did the Ash Titan, so you're welcome and I'm sorry, I guess. Maybe a little bit of both. And I've worked on a lot of the content and the Imperial City, actually, that's going to be coming out at some point. So
great.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what you're currently working on without getting into anything too spoilery?
Yeah, sure.
Spoilery,
Sure.
real word.
So I kind of mentioned before that I've been working directly with Eric Roble for the past 6 months or so on some in-game itemization. We've been focusing a lot on creating some interesting sets that players will eventually be able to go after. And we're kind of looking at the current meta of the kind of sets that players are using, and we're kind of looking at ways we can kind of play around with that. Ways that maybe you can change your build up a little bit, and put maybe some abilities on your bar that you're not used to, and still be really effective. Eric is definitely very much focused on trying to give players not completely change the gameplay experience, but allow you to kind of grow and change a little bit. And other than that, we've been focusing on a bunch of player updates. For 1.7, I did a lot of Templar work, and there's yeah. So I know Templars have been kind of fighting for some changes.
Well, some balance changes, yep.
Yeah, and so 2 changes that I think are pretty cool that I think we're ready to talk about are a change to the Honor of the Dead, which is a morph of a ceremony. So that used to trigger, when you healed an ally at 50% health or below, it would trigger a magicka regen. And what we noticed from our data and also from our own internal playtesting was that 50% or below health is kind of a hard number to hit. Like you usually want to try to start healing players, especially in PvP and other encounters. Yeah,
it's quick.
Yeah. It's very quick. Yeah, before you get to that 50% health mark. So we upped that health mark to 75% health because we really wanted players to be able to lean on Honor of the Dead as an ability to, they know they're going to heal their friends, but they also know they're going to get magicka back. And there was a little too much going into exactly when they should use that ability. Another fun change that I think people are going to like and that our internal kind of our best QA testers have liked so far is Purifying Light, the morph of Backlash. And the old design, when the Backlash exploded, it would leave, the Purifying Light exploded, it would leave a pool of healing on the ground. And that pooling would stay static, right? So like if you did it on a monster and the monster like ran away, that healing pool was still there. And that was kind of hard for players to like actually utilize and like in a boss encounter or encounters where players are focusing on a monster, focusing on a player.
Right.
So we changed it so that when the Purifying Light explodes, the healing circle actually attaches to the monster.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so like, because one thing we know is like melee can be difficult at times, right? They a lot of times have a harder time than range, depending on the encounters. So we wanted to help melee. We wanted to help the tank. We wanted to have the healer have or even an off, support Templar be able to throw something on the monster that they can kind of just sit and get some extra healing off at any time. And so our internal QA has been loving it. It's really cool to see the reaction. We got a brand new effects for it. Our effects artist did an awesome job on it. So I think people are gonna like it.
Great.
So yeah.
Can't wait for people to try it out.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a few questions for you.
Okay.
We'll start with the easy one.
All right.
Somebody was asking why all the men at ZOS have facial hair.
Oh, you just wait
And
until
I'm
our
looking
next
around.
couple guests.
Hey, I have my hair on my head, so well, it's one of those things where sometimes we have to work late hours, and when we go out into the night, we have to feel secure in our manliness. And so it's just a way for us to, feel secure about ourselves.
I thought you were just going to say, well, we work such long hours and ain't nobody got time for shaving. All right. Anyway.
I got to be able to fight off bears, and bears are scared of beards, okay?
Is that how it works?
Yeah, right? Isn't it?
Somebody was asking, in your opinion, what is the best design that you've done while you've been here?
Oh,
That's a good
man.
question.
The best? I
Or
don't know.
maybe your favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what I've had the most fun on. How about that?
Sure.
How about sorry, tough question. So yeah, so probably the most fun I've had working on was probably the City of Ash dungeon. And the Ash Titan was really fun. I talked about that earlier. That was really fun to make. But actually, the last boss, Valken Scoria, I think was kind of the most fun I had. He has this specific mechanic where he's going to explode platforms around the play space, and kind of getting all that to feel right and getting that working with the artists and working with our animators and everyone to kind of get that kind of almost like action movie moment where he explodes the platform and you're running away from him as everything's flying around you. That's kind of bringing that all together and building the gameplay space to work really well with that boss encounter was probably some of the most fun I've ever had. So yeah, I really like working with a lot of people, and that was kind of one of those encounters where like I had to be working with our world builders, I had to be working with our effects artists.
And it all
really
just kind of came together.
Yeah, and so like it was really fun. It was really fun to do that. So.
Somebody else in chat was asking if races are going to be rebalanced at some point.
So I mean that's one of the things that I know Eric is looking at and is aware of. And we don't have any plans right now that I know of, but rumor has it that he's going to be on the stream next week. Maybe. Potentially.
We were talking before this, and we were thinking either next show or the one after that.
Yeah. So he might have some.
Soon.
So he might be able to talk about that a little more in length. But currently, we don't have any plan changes. But we're aware. We're aware of what the community's been saying about.
Well, we can put that in our pocket until Eric's on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to put him on the spot. Right now.
We'll remember.
Yeah.
We have another question here. How much does BI, business intelligence, and real-world data collected from the live servers impact the changes that you make?
Quite a bit, actually. We have like morning meetings every single day. to kind of see where everyone's at on the team. And the BI, the business intelligence, is actually in every single one of those meetings. And so, we're constantly asking for information. And we use that information to define a lot of the changes we make. Obviously, we take feedback from players, and we kind of weigh the feedback versus as much data as we can get from our BI team. And that's kind of we're always trying to weigh those options. And if we can get the data, we try to use that as best we can when we're making decisions.
Right.
So yeah.
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
We do our best.
I think unless you want to put a plushie on your head, we will wrap up.
Can I just pet the McCrab?
You can.
I'll just put him right there.
There you go.
Oh, I gotta do the
It's a little
Zoss sit too,
pet.
don't I?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot
There
to. There we go. So
All right.
now that we're in our official sit position,
Yes.
we will get into our next giveaway.
Okay. I think we're going to give away some pig coats.
Do you want to say the keyword for everybody?
Sure. I've already kind of eaten my words a little bit. So how about the keyword is we.
All the way home.
We.
And this
Two
is
E's or
two
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 E's.
E's, not two I's.
no
like
spaces.
No spaces.
We. I'm gonna kill someone.
That's just like hard to like understand.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
Yeah.
that's
Like, what about the people who speak French who are watching? They think we're saying,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see all the wees in chat. Wee.
Oh, there's so many piggies.
But it's funny because some people are just typing wee.
That doesn't count. It's WEE.
Oh, they got it now.
They got it.
They got it. This is hilarious. All right, so are we doing 3 or 1?
probably three?
Let's do 3. Why not?
Yep.
All right, so the first winner is Big Nord Wolf Blood.
Nice name.
Wow. Okay. We have our next winner is Run Corco.
Run Corco? Corco.
Yes,
Like
with K's.
running corporation or something?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
Don't ask me. And the last winner for the last piglet is Metabots.
I like that name.
Sounds like a transformer or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
Or it's a pseudo transformer.
Potentially.
It's a global transformer.
Well, you guys, congratulations
Yep. Congrats.
on winning your little pigs.
Yay.
Enjoy them.
Jason will be in touch with you on Twitch chat. He will send those out, well, whenever he can, I guess. I think last time we said after the show, and everyone was like, where's my pig? So,
So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We'll let you get back to work. And next up, we're going to take a look at some of your fan creations. Welcome back. So as usual, we are going to take a look at some of the fan creations that we've received over the last couple of weeks. We get some really great entries from art to music to cosplay. So let's take a look at a few of those today. First up, this is ESO fan art by Janine Judd. This was actually sent into our community inbox. This is a crayon drawing, if you believe it, which is amazing. It's done in the Art Nouveau style. And this is from a longtime ESO TU fan living in Zurich.
I know when I drew with crayons, it certainly did not look like this.
Yeah.
This is really impressive.
Really good shading, especially for crayon. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. This one is titled Khajiit Like Fish by Benjamin. Oh, you say it.
Helmoin?
Thank you. This was also submitted to our community inbox. It's submitted by, well, somebody who just loves to fish in Tamriel, and he sent us a short message saying, thanks for this gorgeous game, with a little smiley face. You're welcome, Benjamin. You're welcome.
This one is called ESO Dragon Knight Chibi by Sean578 on DeviantArt. And this was submitted actually for our fan art contest last month. This is based on the artist's Dragon Knight Vampire Espris. She wanted to do more improvements to it, but loves how the armor turned out. We do too.
Mm-hmm.
Those
I
eyes
really
are
like
adorable.
Oh, and I like the little cat above her head. This is actually an Ouroboros tattoo by Alex Boldea. This was done at that Transylvania?
This is Transylvania
Transylvania.
tattoo.
I'm not sure if that's a typo or not, but we'll just go with it. So yeah, this was also submitted to our community inbox, and he was saying that his guild was really suggesting that he send this to us, so we love it.
Really good. Yeah.
We were actually wondering what body part it was on.
Let's not get into that. This is called Squee by Two Tone Fools on DeviantArt. It's a very cute, is that a bantam core? Yeah.
Eating worms, I guess. Whatever they eat. Next we have a piece called Valmion Lalu by Slayer Serena, who we typically feature on this show. We usually actually see pieces from her in more of a comic style, so this is very
style,
dark and it's cool. She was saying that this was a paint study that she started while drinking her morning coffee. It's one of her Dunmers, Valmion of House Lalu. He is a house protector, merchant, and student of the Tribunal Temple.
This is Lilwy the Bosmer by Linnea on the official ESOTU forums. She said that this is a model based on her little Bosmer with some arrangements and modifications.
I dig it. And here is the Lusty Argonian Maid cosplay. The photographer was actually Ishi. This was found on Tumblr. We aren't quite sure who is under that mask, though. But this was worn to...
Mask? That's a mask?
Oh.
You mean she's not real?
It might be real. I'm sorry, my bad. This was worn to this year's Fanime-Con in San Jose, California. So if you are this Lusty Argonian Maid, let us know. We'll give you proper credit.
We love it. So that wraps up our fan creations for this week. So
We are going to do one more giveaway.
Okay.
We're going to give away our Netch plush. It'll be, well, there he is on screen. So you can purchase this at either the Bethesda store or Gaming Heads, or you can win it right here on the show. The keyword is going to be launch, because console launch. So he's got little bendy arms.
Doubles as a hat.
You want to wear them? Yes.
Yes. All right. Doubles as a hat. There we go. I'm not wearing this for the rest of the show.
It is a great look for you. So again, the keyword is launch, and you can win a Bull Netch plush, but not this particular one.
Yeah.
It'll be wrapped up in plastic.
This is our set pet.
Okay,
So,
Jason.
Who is our winner?
He just sent me a message saying not a typo. Oops.
Oh.
I just saw it.
Okay.
All right, so the winner for the plush is going to be Mr. Wackio.
Congrats, Mr. Wackio.
Congratulations. As usual, Jason will be in touch with you on Twitch, and we'll ship out your little guy sometime next week. He has to wave, don't forget.
Okay, bye. All right, what's next up?
Next, we are going to get into our Ask Us Anything segment where we answer your questions.
All right, so welcome back. We are going to dive into our questions and answers from the official forums. So let's get to it. Maybe.
Stalling. Here we go. All right, so the first question is from Screamer19B14_ESO, asking, going forward, do you plan to have cycles of items leaving and returning to the Crown Store, and do you plan to hold corresponding sales at these times? So during the planning of the last event that we had for the Crown Store, there were a lot of good reasons why we decided to hold a corresponding sale. One of the big ones was that the console copy was coming up, and if you were eligible for this copy, you couldn't actually transfer crowns with you. So we can't say that this is always going to be the case. You should expect to see items coming and going from the store We sort of want to keep it new and interesting, so this will be a semi-regular occurrence. We do plan to let everybody know when we plan on removing an item, though, so you will have a heads up before it's just gone.
Yep. And we promise not to say, get it before it's gone. Yeah. All right, so this is up by Tom Uchia. Will all weapons get their own animation one day? It looks kind of weird when you stab with your mace as if you're wielding a dagger. Agreed. We do agree that this would be a really nice improvement. However, it's not something that will likely happen in the near future. So maybe someday.
Next question is from Pima, asking, Dear Zos, please tell me why game time cards are more limited than the Twummer style book. I've been asking about making them available for quite a while, and everywhere I look, they're out of stock. Could you elaborate what is going on? Well, next week when ESO TU launches on console, there will be a variety of Crown cards added to select retailers. You can purchase the Crown cards and ESO Plus cards for PS4 at Best Buy, Amazon, and GameStop. And then you can also purchase Crown cards for Xbox One at Best Buy, Amazon, GameStop, and Walmart. The ESO Plus cards will be available for Xbox One a little bit later, and the ESO Plus cards for PC will be available again in the coming months.
Next question is by Chufu. Do you still plan on improving fishing? Yes, absolutely. We are currently exploring some incremental improvements that we can get online in the near to midterm, while larger scale improvements will be a little farther out. So, yay for fishing improvements!
Woo. Another question from Screamer19B14_ESO. Now that the blacksmithing and provisioning costumes have been removed from the Crown store, are there any plans to create costumes for the other 4 professions? We would like to offer everyone something for each profession. With that said, we want to improve working with the community as a whole to kind of find out what you guys would like to see in the store. We have been reading all of your posts. We know we have a sticky on the forums kind of asking what your wish list items are, and we have been reading them. And we also want you to know to expect to see a little more proactive communication about these types of things in the near future. We are planning on opening up a Crown Store section of the forums where all the discussion can be consolidated in there, and we'll maybe set up some polls and some ideas for you to discuss.
Yep, that should be coming up any day now, yeah?
Pretty soon.
All right, next up, this is by Enodoc. If Upper Craglorn is the 3rd region of Craglorn per its promotional materials, that means Lower Craglorn is made up of 2 regions, presumably the region to the west of Belkarth and the region to the east of Belkarth. Do these 2 regions of Lower Craglorn have names? We have an answer from Frastus of Elenir, and he says, here in Craglorn, we refer to those areas as the Belkarth region and the Elenir region, for reasons that should be obvious. Are you in the Elenir region now? Stop in sometime and buy me a drink.
All right, next question is from Randolph Benoit. Thank you for correcting me. With more and more players joining the game, competition for guild traders has gotten pretty crazy. The cost of bid versus money made from sales has greatly widened. Guild traders are now costly due to the small amount of traders available. It comes down to rich guilds pushing out smaller ones. What are some suggestions for smaller guilds to compete, and are there future plans to add more traders? We do plan to continue to add guild traders along with new content, kind of like what we did with the outlaw refugees, provided that the demand for them continues. This is something that we're continuing to monitor, and we will adjust as needed. In terms of suggestions, we advise smaller guilds to look at some of the more out-of-the-way guild traders, since the competition for the high-traffic locations is pretty fierce.
This is from Solace of Shadows. I heard that there was an ancient Bosmer cookbook. I haven't seen it anywhere, and I think I either misheard or someone was joking. So while we can't give any specifics, we are looking into the possibility of adding cultural influence recipes that expand upon the traditional dietary needs in order to provide opportunities for you to observe your character's heritage. For example, Bosmer characters might feel more comfortable crafting and enjoying a wider array of food types and their associated benefits exclusively from meats while they are within the Valenwood.
You know what? Kai's gonna kill me, because he said how to pronounce this poor guy's name, and I just don't remember.
It's schon Wiederich.
When did you become German?
He
Well-
coached me beforehand. Thanks, Kai.
Okay, well, that person submitted a question. If and when shields can be dyed, will we be able to add guild heraldry to them too? Well, while shield dyeing is something we are looking to get in soon, TM, it will not include guild heraldry.
All right, we've got
That's it.
another one from Solace of Shadows. Will having pets ever give you slight bonuses, such as plus 1% dodge and negative 1% attack for a fox, plus 1% piercing and negative 1% defense for a cat, and plus 1% speed and negative 1 alchemy for a raven? They could be familiars instead of pets and add to the customization of a character. So far as I can tell, pets are nothing but cosmetic, and while that's fine for some, it would encourage others to spend crowns if there was more substance to them. While we like substance, we'd actually prefer pets to remain as a fun cosmetic item. We don't want you to feel forced to use certain pets for certain situations and become blocked due to not owning one, and don't want those who love cats to feel like you have to be surrounded by dogs due to a bonus. What if you're allergic? That said, making pets more compelling is something we do continue to explore.
My dream is to be surrounded by dogs
Yeah, me too.
because I love them. Next question is from Verasite asking, is there a reason that using the major expedition buff from double take while stealth makes you move slower than using the major expedition buff from rapid maneuver while stealth? They both say 40% faster movement speed, but using double take while stealth is noticeably slower than rapid remover. That's a great catch, and that is definitely a bug. Double take will give the same amount of movement speed increase in our next major update. So thank you.
Yay for fixing bugs, and thank you for reporting it. This is by Chufu. Can we expect to see additional symbols for guild heraldry? While we don't have anything in the pipeline for this at this moment, it is something we will likely expand in the future in one way or another. So keep an eye out.
Next question is from Naz asking, do the channeled heavy attacks from Restoration and Lightning Staves proc the Daedroth summoning effect of the Maw of the Infernal set, or is the proc chance only on the final blast of those heavy attacks? We're happy to say that all ticks of Restoration and Lightning Staves have a chance to summon the Daedroth, so enjoy.
All right, this is our last question by Tom Uchiha. Will we be able to fight and defeat other Daedric princes in the future? Spoiler! Giving you a second to stop listening. After we defeated Moloch Ball, Meridia tells us that we have to prepare for coming conflicts and that our real enemies aren't mortal. So we have an insightful answer from Sir Cadwell. He says, odds goose, I'm counting on it. I've been practicing, you see, at fighting Daedric princes by knocking melons off fence posts with a garden rake. That's how it's done, isn't it? Just line them up, Clavicus File, Mephala, Nocturnal. I'm ready for them. Tally-ho!
Tally-ho.
So that wraps up our Q&A, and we have the segment you've been waiting for, hopefully, our live console demo next. We have some special guests with us to help us through it.
Tally-ho.
Hi, guys! You just, appeared.
You just showed up. Here you are.
So we have executive console producer Eric Wass here and senior QA tester. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm
William
drawing a blank on your
Schuck.
Thank you. I'm doing that.
You can just go by Bearded Dr. Evil and Bearded Mini-Me.
There you go.
True.
Love it. Well, let's start with Shuck. Sorry, William.
Okay.
I've never called him William before, so it feels weird. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit what you do here at Sauce?
Like you said, I'm a senior tester. I started off as a regular tester. This is my first industry job. Got a helping hand in getting the interview, but I like to think I earned the spot myself.
Naturally.
But we do a whole lot of everything here. For the last year, my focus has been on the console game, though.
He's
Wow.
been awesome. I mean that. I love you, man.
You're too good to me.
Oh,
Too good to me.
And what about you, Eric?
Yeah, the executive producer for console here at ZeniMax Online Studios. It's been a fun ride about getting this game developed. Since this is my first time really talking with anyone publicly, I want to just introduce myself a bit. I've been making console games for a really long time.
Yes, you have.
I started at Nintendo and worked on a number of titles there, including the Donkey Kong Country series and GoldenEye
wow.
for the N64.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love those games.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun. I've also spent a good part of my career at Microsoft and more recently Sony PlayStation, where there I worked on a number of titles, including Sports Efforts, Mod Nation Racers, and Little Big Planet Karting. But started here about a year and a half ago, along with the console lead engineer, Ryan Woodland, who's been an awesome partner in crime, if not the little wonky on his dress choices. When we came on board, the first thing was to take a look at the game because, other than some of the early betas, hadn't really seen much of it. And took a look at the game to see how it would translate to console, and was really happy to see the game was a lot of fun. It was awesome. Like, the content is insane, how much content there is. And some things that had already been decided made for a console experience really nice, like the streamlined abilities. Instead of some MMOs that have ability bar after ability bar, the streamlined number of abilities really lent itself well to a controller that has limited inputs compared to a keyboard and mouse.
Right.
So that was awesome. And so then it was like, well, do we do a direct port, or do we really make a console version of Elder Scrolls Online? And we already have an awesome game on PC, so it's like, let's make a console version. I think that's almost always the right call, but it has some challenges. And one of the challenges is it's like trying to make a movie based off a really popular book that people love and enjoy. And so people that haven't read the book, if they just see the movie, they're going to go awesome, right? Like, that was an awesome movie. But if they've read the book, they're going to notice some differences. And that's the case with Elder Scrolls Online console versus the PC version of the game. So it doesn't mean that one is better than the other, it just means they're different. But the choices we made for the console version focused around three main tenets. One is make the controls as fun as possible. The second is to make a familiar experience for console games. And then three was to make a great on-the-couch experience where the TV's 10 or 12 feet away. So it's different than if the computer monitor is a foot or two in front of you, right? So in terms of making the controls fun, from my early Nintendo days, Shigeru Miyamoto beat into my head, you focus first on the controls. First, second, and third, you make them fun, nothing else other than that, and you're halfway done with a great game, right? So we spent a lot of time working on the locomotion, as Will picks up some items here, from walk, run, sprint. We took advantage of the analog stick to just make it real easy to maneuver around in the game. We also spent a lot of time with the reticle because you don't have the mouse to point and click wherever you want to.
Right.
So we spent a lot of time making the reticle movement really fluid with a nice acceleration ramp up and down. Also, we put a little bit of a sticky targeting in there to make it real easy to target who you want to. So if you just move quickly from left to right or right to left, you're going to see it hang for a tick or two on some of the different targets. We also, because some people like first person, some people like third person, we wanted to make that easy to toggle between the two. So if you just push down on your D-pad, you can toggle between first and third. And while you hold down on your D-pad, if you move your right analog stick up and down, you can scroll your camera in and out just to make it easier for whatever your preference is. Because sometimes in this game, as you probably notice, it's more fun to be up and close, and other times we have a lot going around you.
Yeah,
you kind of want
depending on what you're
Yeah,
doing.
you kind of want to scroll out to see more of what's happening around you. So that was the first tenet, making it fun. As you're seeing here, Will, you're having fun, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
And he's not just paid to say that. Secondly, we wanted to make a game that's familiar, right? Because Elder Scrolls Online it's been around, right? There's a couple of games that have been out on PC and console already, and we didn't want to alienate by making a totally new schema that people that have played Elder Scrolls games on console would go, I don't understand how this works. So when you pick up the controls, if you played other Elder Scrolls games, it's gonna feel very familiar to you.
It definitely does, yeah.
And we spent a lot of time on the button config, and initially our goal was to have customizable button config where you could do whatever you want, put buttons wherever you wanted to. But because of the limited console space and the fact that some of our moves require dual press moves, we went down a rabbit hole of complications. So we took a step back and went, let's just go simple. And we just went with templates, and we did a lot of focus group testing, and almost everyone gravitated towards the 2 templates that we're offering. Now that said, we do want to see what happens once the game goes live, and if there are people that are really clamoring for something that we haven't provided for them, we'll want to be responsive to that. The other thing you're going to see that's very familiar in our game is the UI. We completely revamped the UI from the PC version, and it wasn't because the PC version of the UI wasn't something we enjoyed, but it's point and click. It's move your mouse to where you want to and click on what you want. That doesn't work on console games, and so what we wanted to do was both have a flow that works well with the controller, and also again is familiar to people that have played Elder Scrolls games.
Looks like we're looking at the inventory here.
Yeah, so
it's nice that it's categorized by weapon type.
Yeah, so we tried to do some of the things that, because the UI you get is in our game, we don't have mods like you do on PC, so we did take a look at some of those and try to do some of the things that we think people would want to see. So we categorized by grouping so that to make it easier to find things. Also to be able to compare and contrast so that you can see item A, item B to see if it's something that you want. We spent a lot of time, though, also even with the font, making it look a lot more familiar to you if you've played Elder Scrolls games on console before. In addition to the inventory, Will, you want to go ahead and use some items? And then, hold on, sorry. Go ahead and use an item. And then you can either go through the UI to use an item, or you can use the radio menu that PC gamers are going to be familiar with to customize, so you can put the items you use most frequently there. It says hotkey access. Another thing that we did is we did some work to make the UI interface good for the looking for group. This is something that we're also doing another, I wouldn't call it 2.0, but an iterative version that we plan to release in a post-launch effort. But you can go ahead and find people that you want to play with in the different areas, and we may try to make the UI as easy and intuitive as possible to get you with other people that want to do the same things.
That's nice.
We also did some work with the guild options, and if you go to the main menu, you'll see campaign, and of course you click on that if you want to get to your favorite place in Cyrodiil. So you can, just like before, you can go ahead and customize ranks if you want in the guild channel.
That's good.
And that comes into play also with one of our other features, which is VoIP. So we know there's people that are going to want a fair amount of customization. We tried to give as much as we could on VoIP. Guild channels, we provided 2 VoIP channels for each guild, an officer's channel and then a main channel. But we also set it up so that you can set the ranks for privileges. So, somebody comes in, if you don't want them necessarily talking, you can maybe just have them here but not talk.
Like if you have a recruit rank.
Yeah. So you can set the privileges for what you want for the main channel and also the guild channel. When it comes to VoIP, we first took a look at what would be the best approach. And the 2 main approaches were a push-to-talk button version or a just talk anytime you wanted to. Both have their pros and cons.
Sure.
What we found is in guild and in group, if people talked, they tended to be self-regulating, and any kind of functionality we would add would just be oppressive. So we decided to just keep anytime we had a deliberation over A versus B, we went with what is the easiest, lowest friction to get the gamer what they want, to interact with the game. So you can just talk. Now, for group and guild, that works really well. For area chat, it's both a blessing and a curse. So in area chat, if you're in an area where there aren't a ton of people, it's as easy to start talking with somebody and then they can talk back, and it's simple. There's nothing else you have to do.
It's simple enough to mute your headset too if you want to.
Yeah, so we did area chat where you can always have area chat on plus another channel. And if area chat gets to be too much, like you said, Jess, you can go ahead and turn it off so you're only in one of the other channels,
Right.
whether it be guild or group. You can be in multiple channels at once outside of area chat, but you can only hear one channel at a time. But it's easy enough to scroll through, toggle, be able to manipulate whatever channel you're on. Now, when you are talking with somebody, you're going to see their name pop up in the lower right-hand corner in the HUD.
Okay.
And at some point, you're going to go find someone else in the group, Will, and start talking with them.
Searching around right now.
Yeah. You finding anyone?
We're
Ro-
doing this on an internal server right now, so I think there's literally
Two,
people
three
on the
people on
server
there?
right now.
Yeah.
Highly
If it looks a bit
populated.
empty, that's why.
We may have a plant.
Yeah.
So while Will's adding a friend and then going to go into the chat mechanisms, you can see where you can also manage your guild roster, promote, demote.
All the same functionalities
Mhm.
in the live game currently.
Yeah. The other
Oh, look at that icon.
what you're also going to see though is in terms of making the game familiar, we really needed to take advantage of the first party consoles. So that means taking advantage of their social systems. It means taking advantage of their gamer tag or online ID. So for people that are wondering, hey, can I also use a party chat like on Xbox or Sony systems? Absolutely. You can be in a party chat. You can be doing the same thing or be in different alliances doing different things and still talking and being social in the same chat channel. All that works as you would expect on the consoles. So you can't be in a console chat channel and one of the VoIP in-game channels at the same time.
Sure.
So you need a toggle or pick between those, but similarly picking between guild channel or group channel, right?
But still, that's cool. I could start playing on console, and maybe I don't know anybody,
Right.
but I've got some friends already on the PlayStation Network or Xbox Live
Yeah.
that I could already group up with and play.
Yeah, so have you had any luck finding Meg?
I think she has temporarily disappeared.
Loading.
Okay.
Yeah.
You always love the tech issues with live demos.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat was actually asking if there's any way to unlock more channels to talk in the game.
Unlock more channels to talk. Well, we have, like I said, group, guild, and area. And you can be in multiple versions of guilds. Like just like PC, you can be in 5 different guilds at once.
Sure. Right.
So you can, if you're an officer in all of those guilds, you could technically be in 10 channels there, plus a group, plus an area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is area chat limited to a certain radius around the character?
Yeah, so we do, it's kind of hard to show here, but we have a volume in which you can talk, and as distance, like say you're walking away from a character, you're going to hear them fade off into the distance.
That's just like our NPCs work then, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's something we're going to take a look at. We have the volume set at a specific level based off a playtest, but if it turns out that some people are finding it to be too noisy or not, we'll look at adjusting the volume.
So if I load in to say Daggerfall and somebody is blasting music, what can I do?
That's never going to happen. What are you talking about, Jess?
Day one.
Coming off the boat, there it is. Well, your easiest option is to just walk away.
Sure.
Right? Now, let's say they're going to follow you. Well, then you can go. You have a couple of different choices. You can either mute the area chat channel, or you can just ignore the person.
Okay.
And so you just don't have to listen to that person.
Right. That's handy.
Yeah.
Why are you murdering everybody?
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Well,
I couldn't control myself.
justice system gone bad. That's all
Oh,
right.
you
Womp womp.
got killed by peasants.
Justice always wins.
Yes. So, no, we've been, we're really stoked about this. Now, getting back to the book analogy of like movie versus book, there's a couple things that we did. And with VoIP, we made the conscious choice to take out text chat. And I've, watched the Twitch streams before, seen a lot of people comment on it.
You've seen the feedback,
Yeah, and again, if you read the book, there's text chat, right? And if you see the movie and it's not there, you're going to go, why is it missing, right? But we made the decision because we really wanted to focus on one form of communication. And we didn't want to divide our audience into those that were using text chat and those that were using VoIP.
And prefer it,
yeah. And I get you could try to do both and all that, but we wanted to keep it simple. Also, if you're on the couch and the TV's 10 or 12 feet away, do you necessarily want to be reading all the text that's going to be scrolling through at the bottom? Like, yeah, I get some people, the answer is yes, some people no, but we wanted to keep it as unified as possible. So that's the decision we made. Again, some things are streamlined on console, so another thing I've seen people ask about is sorcerer's ability to control their pet.
Right.
And in console, it's all automated based off of AI.
Okay.
So again, it's different. It doesn't mean it's better or worse. Some people are going to have their preferences, obviously, and it's hard to please everyone 100% of the time. But as a console offering, like using it as a movie comparison, you're going to come in, you're going to have a great time. The controls, once you pick up the game, everyone's commented very positively that the controls are a whole lot of fun. And for those that are playing console for the first time, never played the PC game, I think you're going to get into the VoIP channels, and it's going to be a real intuitive, easy experience right off the bat. For those PC gamers that are used to some of the things in terms of the text chat, it is going to be a transition, but hopefully it's one that they can make and they can have a lot of fun along with everyone else.
And one thing we were talking about earlier is how the VoIP may make for some really fun role play situations. Like, we hope that we get to hear some really good Khajiit actors.
Yes, I would love to hear that. I will not be one of those people. I don't have that bone. I don't have that acting bone. What you see Will doing here right now is he went into the bank interface, so you can see how that works. Again, as you pointed out earlier, Jess, things are categorized to help make it easier to find things versus just scrolling through an entire menu. So now what, you're going to the guild bank?
Wow, look at all that money.
It applies the same way.
You're rich.
I had to do a lot of things to get that money. I'm not too proud.
How does Mini-Me have more money than Dr. Evil?
I do your finances.
Nice. Yeah, so it's been a fun ride. It's been a lot of hard work. There's some people that have been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get this game done, but we're really excited about the launch on the 9th.
We are too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who want to give hugs to on the team. Also want to thank spouses who have put up with our long hours and maybe some grumpy attitudes from time to time. But yeah, we're excited to see people in and play along with them come January 9th, or June 9th.
January.
Yeah. One of those J months.
Yep.
Somebody noticed you when you were fighting the NPCs. They were just wondering if an NPC stays dead forever when they're killed, or if not, what's sort of the average respawn time? I know they don't stay dead forever.
No,
yeah,
they
definitely don't. I want to say it is only around 2 minutes or so, because it's shorter for the NPCs than it is for other base pop, because we want them to respawn, so if other people who aren't partaking in the justice system get the experience of the city.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not across the board, right? Like, there's quest givers that we make sure you can't kill, right? Because we don't want to have people griefing and blocking quests from being given.
Merchants.
Yeah. So some people you can't kill, but the red shirts you can.
Everyone really, really likes the UI that they're seeing here for console. Do you know if there's a chance it would ever come to PC as well?
So that we've all talked about that, and and along with the gamepad stuff, and we've looked into it. There's complications that we need to work through, so we can't promise anything, but it is something that we would love to see given to the PC gamers.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any more questions?
There's some things that have kind of come up pretty frequently. Maybe we can just address it now.
Yeah.
Maintenance times. I know we said last show that it would be slightly different for PC and console. So just to reiterate, the incremental patches for console aren't going to be the exact same day or time as PC. It's going to be shortly afterward.
Yeah, so with console games, we have a certification process we have to go through with Microsoft and Sony.
Yep.
And with Sony, it's 2, because we got SKI and SEEE for Europe and SEEA for America. And so it takes a few days. It's something we've done before, so it's not a hard process, but it takes extra time. So there's a couple ways we could skin this cat, but the way that made the most sense is let's not hold the content back to the PC gamers. So let's get it out to anyone as soon as we can. So we'd release on PC first while we're going through the certification process, and then once it gets approved, we'd release it on console at the same time. Now, if we had some kind of like maintenance window where we were doing behind the scenes work with no real patch update, we'd still probably look to do those on days next to each other, not all on the same day, because it would be a lot for a live team to take on at once.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So we recently showed off a couple screenshots of the quick chat system. Is that something that we can show off?
Yeah, do you want to, let's go to that. Along with VoIP, we also know that there's some people that maybe speak different languages, maybe a language outside of English, German, or French. And so we wanted to provide some quick hit text chats for people to be able to communicate with those around them. So we provided a menu list. As you saw Will go into a radial menu there, you can customize this into the ones that are your favorites that you want to use more frequently. One of the great things about this is if you're playing with someone in a different language, this is a way to communicate with them, because good job everyone that you saw in English. If you have your game set to French or German, you're going to see it in that language.
Oh, that's cool.
So it makes it easier for people to play together.
So you can do some cross-language communication.
Yeah, and people internally have already given new suggestions for additional menu items to put up there. So that's something we want to be mindful of and listen to the community and add as the game.
More after launch.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
So the guild chat channel, I believe your counterpart might be online if we want to show that off.
Yes.
Well, while Will goes on a hunt for Meg, I know a couple other questions that have been asked. One is about the patch size, and so we have a very large game, and it's larger than we can put on a single Blu-ray. And so both on the digital version and on the Blu-ray version of the game, we have to have a patch, and that's just to get the core game in place. So you're going to see a base version of the game that's roughly 40 plus gigs,
right?
And then a patch afterwards that's about 15 gigs in aggregate. Now, most of that just is the initial submission that we did to the first party guys. We have done a couple of additional patches that are really small incrementals on top of that. That'll all be lumped in. One was the hoop jumping that you got to do with the first party guys to make sure that you're compliant, but it's to make sure that the game works the way that a PS4 owner or an Xbox One owner would expect it to work. Then we've also done some quality of life improvements that have that'll be added as well.
I know some of the things that were called out from beta we've certainly fixed, like the texture popping.
So we did, thank you. We did take a look at the beta feedback, and there was a number of things that we addressed. One of the big ones actually was the quest pins on the compass, because those weren't there initially. So we put those on there. You can't take them off if you want, but most people seem to like them. I know I do. So we added those. With the justice system, some people don't like the glow being so prominent, so you're able to adjust that. We also did a lot of work around, people think it's performance, but really it's streaming, right? Where you saw things kind of maybe be invisible or pop in. And so a lot of work between the beta and now has been done, and it's been really a huge focus of ours this entire time, but a lot of things have come in and we're really pleased with the results. Both consoles display at 1080p and we've locked at 30 frames a second. Now, when you have a huge number of people all in the same area, that's going to be a little bit more challenging.
Right.
But it's not a console or a client challenge. It's a server side challenge for us, right? But in addition to that, we've also added some things just to help with contingency situations. So, for instance, we put in some low-level LOD versions of models. So, like
level of detail?
Yeah, level of detail. So, like this is predominantly a thing that is going to help in like AVA. So, you're in Cyrodiil, and instead of people being invisible, which you would have seen in the beta, you're going to see the low-level version of some characters, and then once the streaming catches up with the textures, the effects, all those will come in, and you'll see the high res
And that's to
versions
help
of
with
them.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So those were some big takeaways with the beta. The quick chat system was another thing.
Okay. Great.
I keep seeing Meg's name at the bottom showing up. Does that mean
She was
Yeah.
chatting.
she's talking?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's whatever channel you're in, you're going to see the people that are talking show up in the HUD in the lower right corner.
Okay.
So when you're in a guild channel, a group channel, it's going to be pretty sane. If you're in the middle of a big fight with a lot of people in area chat talking at once,
You're gonna see a lot.
it's going to be a little bit like the sidebar on the Twitch TVs, where things are scrolling pretty fast.
Is there a limit to how many names can show up?
So we put the last 4 that have spoken. In terms of limit in a channel, they're just set by the boundary limits for the group or guild.
Okay.
So you could have 500 people in a guild chat.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that would work.
For the guild chat, though, and this goes back to a previous question, as you gain more members, you unlock more all members channels. So, although only officers and the guild leader can speak in the officers channel, or anyone else who has been given permission, as long as you have permission to talk in a guild, you'll be able to speak in one of the all members channels.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I know another question was where do I actually buy things from the store?
Oh yeah, crowns or.
So any money transactions are going to happen on the Sony and Microsoft side as you would expect on a console game. And so whether you're buying a digital version of the game, crowns, things are a little bit in flux in terms of the ESO Plus membership on the Microsoft side, but so that may be directly from the store, or you may need to buy it in game through the store. On Sony, you'll see it on the PSN store right off the bat. But all of that you're going to buy through their systems. Then the Crown Store is what you'd expect. So for those that have purchased things on the Crown Store and PC, same
Exactly
situation.
The same experience.
Yeah,
Okay.
for console gamers who haven't played yet, you take the currency that you bought out of game, and in game you use that currency to buy the items that are there in the store. The items are meant to be customizable things for aesthetics, but nothing that like cheats the game for you, right? That helps get you from A to B in a way that is unfair to everyone else.
Right. Okay.
Somebody was asking if you could zoom into first person so they can see that a little bit. Ooh, there it is.
Yep. So we know people have preferences, so we did spend a lot of time with both the third person and first person versions of controls.
I like how easy it is to zoom in and out at varying distances.
Yeah, so that's what on the PC it works really well. You just mouse scroll, right? So we wanted to mimic that, and then so that's why we have the R stick and down on the D-pad to make it really easy.
Were you trying to pickpocket her? Never, right?
I wouldn't do such a thing.
So what about achievements? What's going on with that? With either the trophies, in-game achievements, Xbox achievements? Like how is all that linked together? Do they transfer over? All that stuff.
Sure. So we have 2 different types of achievements, right? We have our in-game achievements that you see on PC, and that they exist on the console version as well. And then you have the Sony trophies, Microsoft achievements as well. So the console version of these, they don't translate over, right? That's a rule that those guys put in place. So
And that's what kind of ties into your gamer score and all
yeah,
that.
and they're also account based. They're not character based. So when you play the console, for those that are playing for the first time, of course you got to do it anyway. But for those that have the transfer SKU, you'll need to do the trophies and achievements through the console side again. For in-game achievements, those are character-based. They're not going to show up right away, but you're going to be able to unlock them a whole lot quicker than you did
Right.
the first go-around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you are transferring your characters over.
Yes.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Oops.
The fighting looks just exactly the same as on
Yeah.
console PC or on PC and Mac.
Yeah, and a lot of the results have shown up on PC too, but we spent a lot of time giving weight to the combat, right? And
Yeah.
you know, the physics, also the rumble that you get on controllers, right? So
Oh yeah, you don't get that on PC.
yeah, so that helps add an extra layer of just contextual surround, you know, feeling like you're part of the game. So it really is a nice touch. And again, the controls, it's almost inexplainable. There's something about it. Yeah, we didn't implement flying in the console version of the game, Will.
Oh no.
All right.
So what about game sharing and remote play? How, does that is that integrated at all with the game?
Yeah. Not only is it fun, you know, something that gamers want, it's something first parties make us do. So, yeah, we definitely have that in the game. So, PlayStation Vita for the PS4 guys. Yep, that was one of the first things we got working, and we were really excited about that.
That's awesome.
And then
It's always amazing to see them on the little handhelds
yeah,
and working smoothly.
well, it allows you to sit on the couch and watch TV with someone else doing it while you're actually playing the game on your Vita. And then, yeah, the game sharing is in there and as you would expect it to work.
Great.
So aside from obviously the control scheme, is there any differences between the PS4 version and the Xbox version?
Very little. I mean, most of it has to do around the social systems and the first, you know, what the first party has. So how you block somebody, how you call up a gamer card, some of that type of stuff.
Sure, just tying into their functionality.
Yeah. So, but it's what you'd expect as a PS4 gamer or an Xbox One gamer. But those are the main differences. Again, the resolution is the same, 1080p.
All the gameplay is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is sort of specific. Do you know how many all-member channels a guild chat can have?
I believe it's 5 because I think the limit the limit for the all members channels is 100.
Okay.
And since you can get up to 500 members, that way everyone could be in one of those channels at the same time.
Okay.
Cool.
Do something, Will.
We're all watching.
How about crafting?
Yeah, watch those
Are you
crafting.
near a town?
I can head back over.
You can be.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking if you can turn off the UI for screenshots or videos for console specifically.
We do not have that ability in the retail version of the game.
Okay.
It's obviously something that we've done internally for screenshots.
Sure.
Yeah.
So somebody was asking how the mega servers work for this. I know we have just the North America and Europe for each console, like we do for PC.
So that's a great question. 'Cause we haven't talked about it at all. So we have both European and North American mega servers. The PS4 and Xbox both have a mega server in each realm. But on console, you can pick which mega server you want to play in. So regardless if you're playing in Europe or playing in North America, you can pick the other mega server when you first log in if you want to.
But my characters are still tied to
The characters
server that I made them on, right?
So similar to PC, because characters are stored on a database within the mega server, so they don't translate from one to the other. But if you have friends that are playing on one, you can go there. We find most people pick one and stay with it. But you know, like there might be someone in London who moved over wants to play on the North American mega server. They certainly can. You can play on both, but to your point, Jess, you have to keep your characters separate.
Right. Okay. That is exactly the same as PC and Mac, so for those who are playing the game now, that shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. What are you going to craft, Will?
I don't think I have the proper material, so I'll probably just end up
You're just
breaking down something I already
deconstruct.
own.
Okay.
Plenty
Just
of
to
those.
clarify, if you are eligible for the console transfer, you can still play on PC.
Oh, yes.
The progression will just be separate
Yeah.
at that point.
The copy was done June 1st.
Yep.
Yeah, so from that point, whatever your status was then is what got copied over. So
Yeah,
when
it's
you
like
join,
a straight copy and split,
yeah,
basically.
but yeah, you can still play on PC if you want.
Yep. Really like the crafting UI. Looks good.
Thanks. Yeah, Gary was on here. What was it 2 weeks ago?
2 shows ago.
Yeah,
2 shows
I
ago.
think.
Yeah, he was the brainchild behind the design for the UI, and he did a phenomenal job. We're really happy with how the UI turned out.
Everyone's excited. They say if they have a beard, they feel like that's the first foot in the door here.
Yeah. Yes.
It is the trick.
How to get in the games, grow a beard. It's also your only hair option if you don't want to have a comb over.
Are there different audio settings, or are they the same for console versus PC and Mac?
Audio settings are the same. You're going to go into them now. Yeah, so you can adjust the master volume, music, ambient, all the things you see there.
Okay.
In addition, you have the first party options, like say you have your headset on, and
Yeah.
how you want to funnel your music and your voice through either the speakers or your headset.
Great.
Do you have a bow in your inventory?
I do.
People want to
Unless
see a
I
bow.
accident-
Somebody really wants to see a bow.
I may have accidentally deconstructed it, but I would check. It's still here.
There you go.
We're safe. All right, let's
We'll
go.
show it off in third and first.
Yeah, you
Let's go
want
find a poor citizen.
Oh.
is scrolling a little bit. You're way out there. All right, there you go.
Uh-oh.
And
Guard is not happy about that.
Neither why.
Nope.
Will versus the guard. Oh.
They win
think-
every
I
time.
That was short-lived.
I think I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
So I know you guys in QA do a lot of testing for console. Do you do any stress testing?
Yeah, yeah. We have done for a while now, essentially weekly tests in Cyrodiil as we pool together all of our QA resources and we just fight each other alongside
Both
the
here
devs.
and the mothership and at
Yep, the mothership, who has been incredibly helpful, by the way. But we all get together and fight, and I do a lot of what I'm doing now, which is dying. And
Everyone in chat is going, oh, wrecked.
see if I can get away from the guards.
Yeah, so we've done both in internal betas and stress tests that we've done, just to both heavy amount of focus on Cyrodiil, but also just making sure, like at scale, if everyone's casting effects at the same time, how does the game operate? And that's where we, and the public beta showed it too, where we wanted to help with the streaming challenges that we had so that things are always showing up.
And that's where some of the performance things
Yeah.
came from that you guys have done since beta.
Yep.
Great.
Do you have access to the crowd store here?
I do.
We do want to mention, though, that since this is a test environment, the prices are not
The price
accurate.
is not right. It's kind of like Price is Right bidding right now.
Yeah,
The
just
digital
one.
imperial update.
$1.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, there's a bit of a stagger with our maintenance and when something's going to come out on console versus PC. Not much, and we want them to be as close as possible. But like I mentioned earlier,
Yep.
the certification process. Same thing holds true for the Crown store.
The Crown Store? Okay.
Yeah. So we've had to clamp down. Nice, Will. We've had to clamp down on the Crown Store updates while we get through the submission process.
Okay.
But now we're opening back up to get caught up with where the PC is. But at launch, you're going to see a lot of things in addition to what you saw on the PC at launch. So
Okay.
it's closer to what you see now.
Great. Do you have any more questions? that. Someone was asking if we could rebind controls.
Yeah, again, it's something we really looked at doing, but the complexity for the multiple button presses and
Yeah.
what we saw happening in terms of people destroying it and not knowing how to get like a L2 and X, for instance, back into the menu. The complexity made it untenable for us, so we went with the simplistic version.
Yeah, I noticed with some of the control schemes, or actually both of them, there are buttons or places on the controller that have multiple functions, and I could see how it would be really easy to remap them and then go, oh shoot, I have these 3 functions that I have no spots for on the controller anymore, such as like with the PS4 and the touchpad, how it controls both the map and the mounting. Like if you tried to remap the mount to, say, your R2 button, then where would you put your map?
Yeah, I kind of get into a musical chairs game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, and we know people were asking for it, and it's something honestly that we were really shooting for, but sometimes, you know, the best approach is to keep it simple. And the 2 different approaches we went with, one is trying to have all the abilities be on a single button press and not have any be on a 2-button press system. And another, we went with more of a cluster approach. Now,
which I think is what we're seeing here.
Yeah, well, you're seeing me be a liar because to do the ultimate, you got to L1, R1 at the same time. So we didn't quite succeed across the board, right? But hey, at least in this way, I'm not going to accidentally trigger it like I do when I play the PC game sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Just gotta have smaller hands.
You go to loot something, and you accidentally hit your ultimate. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. Again,
Okay.
all the pre-download information, we are going to be getting into that tomorrow.
Yep.
We'll be posting on forums and I don't know where else.
We'll be linking to the forum post on our social media channels, so keep an eye out there. What we'll be talking about is if you have pre-ordered a digital version of the game, here's what you can expect and where you can get your preloads set up. And if you've purchased the PC Mac to console transfer, what you can expect and where you can get your code and where you can get all set up for launch. And what the timing is and all that. So, and we will have that forum thread open. If you have any questions, we'll also be looking on social media and try to answer any questions you might have about launch day.
Now we are also going to have a special German stream and a French stream tomorrow. Just kind of showing the same gameplay that you saw here today, except it'll be in your own language. So the German stream starts at noon Eastern time, 6 p.m. CEST, and then French will start at 1 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. CEST. So you can join us here with Kai and Mikkel. They will be speaking German and French, respectively.
And we'll be here too. We'll be in the chat channels. If there's anything we can help with, although we don't speak French or German.
Yeah, and we're really appreciative of being given the time to come show the console version of the game. We are very excited for launch next week. Glad it's finally happening.
Yeah.
Looking forward to...
It's actually less than a week now.
It's less than a week. Really looking forward to going live, playing for a few days, then taking a long nap.
Yeah,
Indeed.
it's been a long few months.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
anything else you guys wanted to touch on before we go?
No, just we're looking forward to seeing people out in the game once it goes live, and we'll be watching for feedback.
And we'll be in there playing alongside you.
Yes.
You won't know who we are, though.
Maybe not. No, you won't. But yeah, we'll looking forward to the feedback, and you know, this is just like the PC version of the game. It's a live game, and we want to be mindful of what people are saying so that we respond to it in updates down the road.
Great. All
Sounds
right.
good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And that
Just about wraps
actually,
it up.
yep, that wraps up our show. So we hope, where we're here. Now I'm doing what Gina's doing. we hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Friday, June 19th at 4 p.m. We might have Eric Grubble with us. We'll talk to him. It'll either be that show or the show after.
Yep. So let us know what you thought of this show. You can post on the forums, on social media. We will be watching, but only if you say good things about us.
Oh, look at these two.
Oh my gosh.
And as always, if you have any fan creations that you'd like to share with us, be it art, music, cosplay, a tattoo even, send it to us at community@elderscrollsonline.com.
Yep, and we will see you guys in Tamriel on console next time we are on the show.
Exciting!
So thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure.
And
Have a good weekend.
We will see you guys soon.
Bye.